10 WWE wrestlers who had incredible second runs. Number 10. Christian. Following a widely acclaimed run in TNA, Christian made the bold and controversial call to jump ship back to WWE. This was a daring move as Christian was a main eventer in TNA and fans were concerned that Christian would be nothing more than a mid-carder if he returned to Vince McMahon's promotion. Things were off to a rough start when it came to his return as Christian's planned involvement in the WWE title picture at WrestleMania 25 was scrapped. This was mainly due to the creative plans leaking online. Instead of keeping Christian in the main event scene like intended, WWE debuted Christian on the ECW brand to little to no fanfare. A rough start aside, Christian, as he did all the time, made a bad situation work in his favor, and his work as a face of the ECW brand in 2009 was tremendous. Christian had a great match with everyone on the brand and he managed to use this run as a face of the brand to show his worth to WWE. Eventually, when the ECW brand was closed, Christian would become a key figure on both Raw and SmackDown, and in the year 2011, Christian would win the world title on 2 separate occasions. A career-altering concussion would cut Christian's second WWE tenure short in 2014, yet throughout his first active years, Christian sealed his spot in the WWE Hall of Fame as a single star and showed everyone why he was one of the most valuable yet underrated wrestlers of the past 2 decades. Number 9. William Regal. William Regal never truly got going during his first WWE run in the late 90s. Regal was in an awful place mentally and this ultimately cost him his job. Thankfully, Regal will be back on track by the year 2000 and this allowed Regal to return to the company. By the time Regal returned to WWE in September 2000, the product had evolved. Talents who were able to deliver outstanding character work and could put it all together in the ring were favored, and this was exactly what Regal was able to do. He would become the commissioner of WWE and had riveting chemistry with every single person he interacted with. For the next few years, Regal will portray numerous roles and he excelled at every single one. And although Regal never won the big one in WWE, this didn't stop Master Regal from carving out a legendary legacy. Number 8. Cody Rhodes. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes took an unprecedented risk in 2022. He was going to leave his executive position in AEW behind in favor of another run in WWE. Rhodes' first run had bright spots, yet towards the end of his tenure, WWE saw nothing more for Rhodes other than being a lower mid-card guy. From his initial return during WrestleMania 38, WWE made Rhodes seem like the biggest star on the planet. Rhodes had instant aura and gravitas, and this in turn, as well as Rhodes being 100% his authentic self, led to Rhodes becoming the default face of the company. Rhodes' work in this role has been highly celebrated, and fans as well as Rhodes know that he did the right thing in leaving AEW. Number 7. Chris Jericho. In 2005, Chris Jericho took an extended leave of absence from WWE. This was a smart move as the Jericho character had become stale, and although Jericho was still delivering in the ring, it was time for him to explore new ventures. When Jericho returned in late 2007 with a new haircut, it felt like the same old Jericho, but that was until 2008 when he turned heel during a feud with Shawn Michaels. This feud was one of the most masterful feuds WWE had ever delivered, and even Jericho cites the feud as a feud where he truly felt like he belonged. Jericho would drastically alter everything about his presentation. He would begin to wear suits to cut promos, and these promos would be long and intricate. Jericho was also having phenomenal matches with every single person on the roster, and between 2008 to 2010, he could have easily been labeled the best wrestler in the entire promotion. Number 6. Bobby Lashley. Following a universally beloved run in Impact Wrestling, Bobby Lashley finally decided that in 2018 it was time to return home to WWE. At first, WWE had no idea how to use Lashley as he was booked in horrendous angles such as Lashley's sisters, yet when they let Lashley loose, a star was born. This began to take shape during the pandemic as Lashley's work alongside real-life friend MVP was incredible, and in turn Lashley was pushed into the main event scene where he became a multi-time WWE champion. Lashley always had the crowd in the palm of his hand, and a 2023 heel run alongside the Street Profits backfired when the crowd just outright refused to boot anything Lashley was doing, as he had a cool factor that was impossible to dislike. Lashley's second run has been a Hall of Fame worthy run, and according to the man himself, he's not done yet, so we have several years left of the Almighty at the top of the WWE ladder. Number 5. Eddie Guerrero. But personal demons unfortunately got in the way of Eddie Guerrero being a top name during his first WWE run. Thankfully for everyone, Guerrero managed to pick himself up, and when he returned to WWE in 2002, he was a very different wrestler entirely. Guerrero would debut a lie, cheat and steal gimmick, and this gimmick managed to resonate with fans of all ages. Guerrero's in-ring work was at an elite level, and when this was combined with compelling character work as well as a vastly underrated promo work, Guerrero had managed to make himself one of the most marketable stars in the world. In 2004, WWE decided to crown Guerrero as their new WWE champion, and this run was a huge success for WWE as the fans loved Guerrero and they firmly accepted him as their guy. Guerrero unfortunately passed away in late 2005, and this cut short what was a marvelous second run in the company. While his passing still hurts almost 20 years later, fans are forever grateful that they got to see the greatness of Latino heat. Number 4. Edge. The WWE fanbase, along with Edge himself, were under the impression that he could never work in the ring again, so when Edge made a surprise return at the 2020 Royal Rumble, fans were truly stunned. Although Edge was considerably older, his storytelling abilities had improved dramatically thanks to his acting projects. This meant that feuds with the likes of Randy Orton, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were unbelievably good, and the payoff matches to these feuds were some of Edge's finest work. Edge's second run lasted between 2020 to 2023, and although Edge now finds himself in AEW with new opponents and new challenges, this run is always going to be looked back fondly on as the 3-year period in which fans got to see Edge in a WWE ring once more. Number 3. Jeff Hardy. It's often joked online that in 2008, Jeff Hardy was as big as Barack Obama. Whilst this is somewhat of an exaggeration, it's hard to deny that Hardy was the biggest thing in pro wrestling in that respective year. Hardy first made his return to WWE in 2006, and the fans instantly reconnected with him. Hardy as a singles act just hit differently the second time around, and this came at a time when fans had become disconnected with John Cena, so they have firmly chosen Hardy as their guy. Hardy's second run lasted until 2009, and it would see Hardy embark in feuds with the likes of Triple H, Edge, and even CM Punk. Hardy would become a multi-time world champion during this run, and if it wasn't for WWE getting cold feet when it came to the charismatic Enigma, they could have truly crowned him as a new face of the company. Number 2. Drew McIntyre. Instead of letting his 2014 release get to him, Drew McIntyre went on a mission to prove WWE wrong. McIntyre toured the independent scene as well as Impact Wrestling, where he became world champion. He also significantly altered his look and put on a ton of mass, meaning that he could look like an absolute animal in the ring. McIntyre also worked endlessly on character work, and he also proceeded to add numerous new moves into his arsenal. By the time that 2017 came around, McIntyre was such a star outside the WWE bubble that they had no choice but to bring him back into the mix. From the moment he returned, McIntyre was put into a prominent position, and to say he has excelled in every single role would be an understatement. In 2020, McIntyre was given the biggest opportunity of his career, as he would win the Royal Rumble and defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36. McIntyre, out of no choice of his own, then had to carry WWE through the COVID-19 era, and McIntyre's work during this period showed everyone that WWE had made the right call by pushing McIntyre up the card. After an extended break in 2023, he began to work into a character change, and the subsequent heel turn has offered some of the finest work of McIntyre's entire career. He's finally put it all together as a grounded, genuine character, and it's hardly a surprise that fans see McIntyre as one of the most valuable pro wrestlers on the planet. And number 1, Shawn Michaels. It was a huge blow for WWE when Shawn Michaels was forced to retire in '98. Along with personal issues, his back was in such a bad state that he couldn't possibly continue wrestling. Now fast forward to 2002, and HBK was able to return to WWE for an 8-year run, and this run came with a focused HBK and a HBK without any of the baggage of his prior run. From his first match back against Triple H at SummerSlam, it was evident that this version of HBK was arguably even better. His in-ring work was outstanding, and over the next 8 years, he would wrestle numerous dream matches against the likes of Triple H, Kurt Angle, and even John Cena, and all of these delivered to the standard that fans wanted. When he retired in 2010 at WrestleMania 26, there wasn't an outcry from fans to see HBK retire. He was still delivering at a high level, yet fans ultimately accepted his decision, and his second run in the company was potentially even better than his first. But there you have it, folks, 10 WWE wrestlers who had an incredible second run. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.